Hello, and welcome back to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. I'm Rosa,
And I'm Sharyn.
and we thank you all for tuning in. And we just want to thank all of the responses that we have been getting and all of the comments and questions. And we ask that you continue to keep them coming. We cannot grow unless we know exactly what you all want to hear about or some of the things that we can correct. So we thank you once again. Today's topic is about trust in a relationship. So I'm sure there's each and every one of you all can relate to this topic today. We're just going to give you a little bit of what we feel like trust is and how trust plays in our relationship. So I'll let Sharon start with trust.
Trust. Well, good morning again, everyone. And as Rosa said, we're we're humbled by the positive feedback that we've been getting. And this is our third segment, if you will, of many more to come. So today, as I shared with you before, there were some topics that's just so dear to us in our community, and remember, we're focusing on, the Black lesbian community. There's so many things that's so vital to us, important to us, and things that we think and feel and experience, but we don't always talk about. So that's why today we're talking about trust. Whoa, what a word. Starts with a T, it ends with a T. Not a big word, but a very important concept. So, as I say the word trust, or Rosa does, and what does it mean to you? Because I don't think it's a surprise to any of you out there that everyone has their own idea of what trust is and what it looks like. So let's start at the beginning. To give you a very simplistic definition of the word trust, trust is your belief in another person's ability to do one thing or another. It's also the degree of which you believe in a person's character, integrity, and honesty, and so much more. So when a person says, I trust you, I want to trust you, I don't trust you, those are very powerful words. So let's begin at the beginning with some of our personal experiences.
Yes.
You ever, and you just look around and, the people in relationships in your family, your friends, co-workers, your people, your posse, whoever. And do you ever see a dynamic when you see two people who've been together as friends for years, and all of a sudden the relationship continues to grow into a different realm, if you will. And what I'm getting at is the possibility when friends fall in love with one another. It's not so much the love that gets them, it's the fact that they're with a person that they simply trust. And you'll hear it over and over again. Oh, we've been through so much. I trust him. I trust her. I trust them. I'll trust them with everything about me. But when we drill down into our relationships, the bottom line is, statistically speaking, when people are asked, what's the most important element in your relationship? It's not love,
It's trust.
it's trust.
Trust. Yep.
It's your ability to trust. But everything comes from a place of desire. We know that. You have to want to trust somebody. All right. So we just now said simply, it's like trust is my belief in your ability, my belief in your character. I have 1,001 stories, but years ago, a friend of mine, I think we were old Navy buddies, and her son was just being a bad little boy, a young teenager, and was getting ready. He was losing his way. Well, something very unfortunate happened. He was locked up in a Tijuana jail, and his mother, my friend, she goes to bail him out. She simply said, I trust you. She said, I was there going out of my mind. My son was arrested in Tijuana, a foreign country, Mexico. Who can I call? Who can I trust to come down with two clean credit cards and a full tank of gas? And I think our friendship flourished times 10 beyond that. So
Yes.
trust.
And picking back off of what Sharon's talking about with trust, when you're trusting with people, just think about how you trust, and when you first meet people, what you give them. Like, is it all of the trust? Because a lot of times I hear people in relationships talk about, well, I don't really know them, so I'm not going to give them all of my business, or I don't really, feel comfortable in this. That's a part of trust. Like,
Yes.
what part of that do you want to give yourself to them? So you just tell them a little bit when you're meeting them, and then all of it comes later, or you just always hold back or have that wall up. And that's my story with just having the wall up. I had to look at myself in that trusting realm. To trust you, you have to be trusting, and you have to give that back. And my whole thing is, if you feel like somebody's not trusting, that's already a big flag. I don't even, that to me is key. I walk away in 2.2 seconds. I gotta know that I feel like you are a trustworthy person. I have to know that you are who you say you are. And that was one of the big things with Sharon. I felt like she was who she said she was. And sometimes, I'm an observer, so if your actions and what you say don't match, sometimes that's a big red flag for me. So I have trust issues, and a lot of that has Sharon has actually lifted a lot of that off, and I appreciate her for that. But it's been hard, especially being in a relationship with me. It's probably been really hard. But I trust
More
her.
on that later.
Yeah, I trust her, and I give her my all. So
That's
and you can-
very, very well stated, and thank you for that. And Rosa makes an excellent point. You want to be you want to be trusted. Be trustworthy. There are people, you can't get it if you don't give it. It's so simple. And they said, with trust itself, it takes years to build, years to build trust, and it takes seconds to break it,
Absolutely.
and forever to achieve it again. There are some people in your life, just slow it down a minute. Just think about it. There's people in your life, they're very close to you, whom you may or may not trust that much. There's others you trust more. And why is that? Because they haven't disappointed you, because they haven't betrayed you. And Rosa, she made a very good point. The dynamics in our relationship, and I share it, and I celebrate it, I honor it, I hold it close to my heart when I tell her, I trust you with everything about me. We had gone through some serious scenarios, and just to accelerate the story, I had a serious health scare. And she comes into the hospital, and you're talking to the doctors. I trusted her with my health decision. And I would say, God forbid, something happens to me and you can't talk. Something happens to her that, I'm the first one to get to her. I trust her not just with my heart. I trusted her with my well-being. My well-being. And that's dramatic and that's deep. And we're not trying to go over a cliff with anything. But trust has many different degrees. When you're talking about your sisters, your brothers, your parents, your cousins, your boys, your girls, your girlfriends from college and high school, there are some people in your life that you will tell them what's really going on with you. Absolutely. Because you what?
Trust them.
You trust them. I trust you not to betray me. If I ask you not to tell anyone, don't. So, how does it go in our relationships, folks? When we're dealing with one another and you're just meeting each other or trying to, as I call it, get the balloon in the air with another woman, here it is. And you're listening. When you meet a person, you're not just meeting them, you're introducing yourself to their history. When a person declares to you that I do care for you, I really want us to work, but I have issues with trust. Not just you, it, because they've been hurt before. And how do you get past that? Is you parachuting to someone's life? Hey, I dig you, I love you, we vacation together, and you looking good, baby, and we've been together for the first 6 hot months. Do you trust me yet? And you're at a different, you may be in a different place than she is. for different reasons, and maybe Rosa can speak to that, because you don't give the keys to the castle to just anyone. You just
Absolutely.
don't. They have to earn it,
Yep.
because we surely know there's many of you out there that have stories that about people who failed you in the trust department. So today we're talking about trust, how it affects us, what we want, what does trust look like? How do you gain the trust of someone? One thing we do is it all starts with dialogue. From a place of desire, the dialogue.
Yes, that open conversation. You got to have an open conversation. And also, when people are having conversations, like for me, I listen to the conscious side of that conversation. And when I say that, it's more of what they don't say. So when you're trusting someone, when you're opening up to them, you have to be aware of some of the things that they do say or don't say.
Yes, yes, and be mindful of both, because people will advertise what they think you want to see and hear.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Well, that's part of building. They want to build the trust, but then, when you start trusting them, then, everybody can't keep up the same facade forever.
Yes.
So when, that time comes, a year or two, and you really start seeing it. Yeah, that's true too.
Or sooner.
And you really start seeing who the person is, and your trust just goes down. You're like, well, I thought they said, and I thought she said, and he, so it all, that plays a part in and eats at the relationship. So, go into a relationship with trust, and don't do anything don't start anything you can't finish. So if it's not who you are, then let them know, look, I'm taking you on this particular date. This is not what I really normally do, or whatever. Just be open and honest about stuff. Just let it out and go from there. I think people take trust and make it so much more than it is. It's just how you play it. If they come in and they're open and honest, you come in, you're open and honest, it's not that big of a deal. It only is a big deal when people betray you, or that trust goes out the window. So that's when it becomes a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the old bait and switch thing. You know what I mean? You're advertising one thing, but when you get behind the curtain, you find out it's something else. And oftentimes you see, as a norm, trust precedes love in a relationship. How about that? The trust precedes love. And it's like, what is it about this person that I'm so comfortable with, that I can speak my truth, and I know it's going to be not go any further than the two of us. Don't love her, but I can trust her with my truth. I can trust her with my secrets. And that is why, like I said, statistically speaking, not to repeat myself, that more people focus on trust as one of the most important elements of their relationship than love itself. Now, something's going on in the world. Here it is. 60% of all marriages in America fails.
Yes.
They don't fail because of finances. They don't fail because of love or not love. You know what the issue is? Trust. Trust. I trust you when I go to work that you're not trying to hit on the babysitter. We had a nanny and it wasn't that kind of party. No, but seriously, but I trust you. Different degrees, different situations, but the same thread is constant. It's real. It's about, can I trust you? I like to share another little story that Rosa has. When we do these segments, they're not scripted, if you can tell. They are not scripted. But we, of course, we haven't been together very long. When I see people say, we've been together 20 years, 18 years, 17 years, God bless you. We're still new with one another. But I will tell you this. You guys know my story, and that I never had children. So now I'm with Rosa. We're married, happily married, I would say, and we got the 2 kids. And I remember, maybe it was a year into our relationship, maybe a little bit more, and Rosa had to go on a business trip, and with that meant Sharyn had to stay in San Diego with the kids. No, we were still in Oceanside, right?
Yeah,
right.
right.
I had. She was going to leave me with the kids, with her two kids, for 2.5 days. She wrote things down. Sharyn, on Monday do this, and Peyton has to do this, and then take Tyler here and do this, and they eat this and that. You believe me, inside I'm serious, I almost imploded, because it's not, she knew she could trust me with the kids, but you know what my fear was? I didn't want to disappoint her and her trust with me. So when she leaves town, and I'm just like, oh my God, okay, oh now what do they eat? Make sure they give them everything they want to eat. So which means that translates to, y'all gonna have pizza for the next 2.5 days. Okay, what time you get to school? Okay, or you take the shower. And I was tripping over myself, even though I was, well beyond my 50s. So I'm telling you, I did not want to disappoint Rosa in the trust that she had in me to take care of the kids. The kids were fine. I'm the one that was nervous, because when you love someone, you don't want to disappoint them. When you love someone and they trust you, and you trust them, because remember, that's one of the building blocks of the relationship. Again, you don't want to fail, you don't want to disappoint. The kids were fine. The kids were absolutely fine.
Yeah,
I'm the one that was nervous, and Rosa would call like every 6 hours. You okay? Look, she would call about me more than the kid. You okay, boo? You okay? Because I was nervous.
I was calling the kids too.
Yeah. Look, how's she doing? But whatever they wanted to do that weekend, yes, you can have it. Yes, you can do it. Because I didn't want to fail Rosa. And that was just funny to me, because as I was, Rosa and I, we were discussing some of the things we wanted to talk about this week. So many things come up to the forward part of your mind, because you say, oh, yeah, that'd be great to talk about. And I have some wonderful examples of. Being old school and being in the life forever, I've been around so many people and their couples and their situations, and you ever see a couple that you could say, I don't know if they're going to make it. Not that you putting bad juju on them or anything. You can just see what you see. Mm-hmm. And I would say, from my friends, the people I've met along the way, the coupling, the uncoupling, the marriage, divorces, we together, they only stay together in the months from January to April, and then they take 8 months off, and then, that kind of stuff. You know what their issues usually are? It's not money. It's not the kids. The bottom line is, they don't trust one another to the level in which their relationship had progressed. Mm-hmm. Since being with Rosa, we have sold a house, bought a house, sold a house. I have to depend on her to make sure the finances okay. She depends on me about the finances. We depend on each other for, honey, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you take care of the paperwork? I took care of this paperwork. There's so many types of trust and degrees of trust.
Absolutely.
So when I tell you I trust this woman implicitly with everything, I do.
Me?
Yeah. So enough about us. We're turning it over to you.
Yes.
Who in your life do you trust, and why? Who in your life don't you trust, and why? Just thinking about it. Just think about it for a minute, because, we can throw out these words and, just, as long as you got, character, integrity, and honesty, and you put it in the pot and you mix it together, you got trust. No. Years. You earn trust one experience at a time.
Yeah.
You ever have people in your life, I can trust him with this, but can't trust him with that.
Right.
And I jokingly say, sometimes when Rose and I are kidding around with each other, I said, you mean there's limits to your love? And I might easily just say, you mean there's limits to your trust? Or it's when, how you get the brand new car and you give the keys to your sweetie, like, baby, be careful. Look, I trust that you know how to drive. I trust that you have good sense, but that is my brand new car, So trust takes on different complexions throughout our relationships.
Absolutely.
But on a serious tip, like I said, who in your life do you trust, and who don't you trust, and why? You got to ask yourself. So simply put, if you want trust, be trustworthy.
Trust.
You know, my fear in my relationship with my wife is that I live up to my higher self with her. That I can be all the things that she expects me to be and needs me to be, but make sure I'm all those things to myself first. I know that I can trust Rosa because I truly believe that we are equally committed to one another's happiness.
Absolutely.
And how did I? Yeah.
We are.
You know, and that's a wonderful place to be.
Yes.
And it's shared, it's real, it's genuine. But we're focusing on trust. She trusts me as much as I trust her. And that's wonderful too. So if you have that in your relationship, wonderful. If you need that in your relationship, if you take the temperature right now of your current relationship, and you don't have to be in a relationship. I'm talking if you're single, whatever. How do you interact with your buddies, your friends, your family? Why does your mother trust one of you more than she trusts your brother? There's always
exactly.
There's reasons why Skeeter can't come. You know. Right. So those are things we want to talk about today. Back to you, Rosa. What do you feel about that?
Well, no, I think that what Sharyn says, especially with us. I mean, most of the segment is about what we know of trust in our own relationship, and I do trust Sharyn as well. I trust her with everything, and that, like I said, trust was kind of big for me, so that was a big step to even open all of that up, because growing up there was a lot of trust issues in my
in your life,
household, in my life, and so I just don't want that same for my household, because we can control what happens here, and so far Sharyn has not disappointed me. In the time she was talking about with the kids, I was nervous too, and I was trying to trust her as well, and it was like, let me see if she can do this, and that's how you build it too. If she couldn't do it, then I would know next time can't really trust her there, so let me hire somebody while I'm gone. Who's more experienced in that area, but,
and had the desire.
Yeah, exactly.
And had the desire,
But our question for you all is, who do you trust and why? And we would love to hear more from you. So
that's what we have today. We want to throw it out there to you. Think about it. Please give us the feedback, because I'd like to know what's going on in your lives as well. We appreciated all the feedback we got from last week about lesbian parenting. So that was so good and rich and real. And as you said, and we made it so very clear to you in our first segment, we are not professionals. I don't play a doctor on TV, and neither does Rosa.
Sharyn just wants to play a doctor on TV, but she doesn't. Okay.
but we've been around life. We are both experts on our own lives, and we are very giving and very unfiltered. We just wanted to share those things with you. So I think, what do you say, sweetie? Until next time, I'm wishing you the very best
of all good things.
Yeah, and that's from the both of us.
Stay safe and stay woke.
All right. Take care.